Hello and welcome back to another episode in the A.N.I series, where this time we'll be taking a look at the SH Figuarts Umamasume Pretty Derby Satono Diamond. Now this is actually the second full attempt at recording this video. I did have one already done, but due to my mic dying, all that footage does not have any sound whatsoever, so I may be going at this video a little bit faster, so yeah, I'll try to keep this as fast as I can. So ever since the first video on Rice Shower that I did, I decided to pick up a couple more figures from the SH Figuarts line, mostly to see if anything changed or if anything's been improved, articulation wise. So with that out of the way, let's just get right into it. So, taking a look at the head, the face print on it is pretty good, pretty well done. Has all the details that you need. For the hair sculpt, very well defined. It's a very large piece, but it does have a point of articulation right here, which hinges at about less than 90. Very nice. For the ears, we have, I think these are on ball joints, but they're so in there that it feels more like it's meant just to swivel. So unlike with Rice Shower, you don't get too much movement, but you do get the swivel. And same goes for here, on this ear, which not only do you have a swivel at the ear, but the ribbon itself swivels independently. And if you take a look at the detail on the ribbon, if it would like to focus, it is done fairly well painted, well sculpted. Now at the head, we have a peg and hinge system, so that should allow for decent up, as much up as you get with the hair being in the way, and a decent amount down. And if you hear a crying sound, that is my cat who just entered the room. I thought I had closed the door, but I guess I haven't. That's fine. He could be in the video. So here at the bottom of the neck, I believe this is a ball joint, but again, fairly stiff. And if we move on to the torso, and if I can get things straightened out, the detail work on the chest is pretty nice, pretty well done. The sculpt work is clean all throughout, and along with the corset, very nice. And there is a joint up here, though it's fairly difficult to get that to move. It does swivel, but I want to say it's a ball joint, but it doesn't really offer too much. But it might be hindered by the corset, because that is a separate sculpt, so it might be due to that. But if you move on to the lower part of the torso, you do get a ball joint, which moves about this much to the side, this much to the side over here, front and back, and again you have a loose floating part right here, so that's not going to impede too much on the articulation. And if you just jump back here on the arms, you get a butterfly joint, a ball peg, which allows about that much to the side, that much down. You can go a full 360, and you do of course get a upper arm swivel. Here at the elbow, a single bend, which allows for more than 90 degrees. And the cool part about this design is because the hands are completely covered with this long sleeve, you get what feels like a knee bend in a way, which is oddly satisfying to move. And it's hard to describe how or why, but it just is. And you do get a swivel here at the cuff, which is painted really nicely. I really like the ornamental design on this character, on Satono. So it's very nice, very nice. And now moving on to, if I can straighten these up, the lower legs. The lower dress part, just like the vest, is, again, fairly nicely painted and sculpted. Not to sound like a broken record. And here on the ribbon, you get several articulation points, like is it a ball joint? Is it a ball joint? I want to say it's a ball joint. And then on each of these flaps, they are on a swivel. And unlike Rice Shower, which was just a ball peg, the tail here is connected on a swivel. 2 swivel points being here at the base and at the tail, which allows for a pretty dynamic range of movement. Unlike Rice Shower that just had the ball and socket joint, which, if you watch that reveal, it tends to pop off on me like every 5 seconds. But here, everything feels fairly nicely solid. And if we move on to the legs, due to the way that the skirt or dress is designed, the sculpt is going to really get in the way of how far she is going to kick, which for a character that is meant to run could be not that great. I'm sure you can find a way to make it look better when taking photos, perspectives and all that. But anyway, you do get at the back here a hinge at the back of the dress. So with that, you can pop off the leg like I just did, which I hope it's easy enough to pop back in. But you can actually see the mechanics right here while I have it popped off. And that's just a ball joint. If you take a look at the upper leg, it's going to be a ball joint and a swivel. So if I just, hopefully I can pop that back in. And if you could just hold on a moment. And popping it back in. It also appears there is a drop down joint, but I can't really get it to go too, yeah, there we go. Has about that much range of motion. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of drop down joints. I just feel it makes it slightly less sturdy overall, but that's just me. If you care for that, then it's there. So with that, moving on, you get a knee joint that bends just a little bit more than 90, though if you can get that to focus. That's pretty nice. And as I mentioned, you do get an upper thigh swivel. And here at the foot, the actual boot is fairly nicely done. And again, you get the horseshoe design for the Umamasume. And you get a pretty nice rocker. Hinges down that much, hinges up about that much. And a toe joint that only bends about that much. Except for both. Yeah, you're not getting too much. And this one feels much looser than this one. So that's probably going to affect how well it's going to balance But with that out of the way, yeah, it definitely has the sculpt and the articulation, though most of the lower articulation points are going to be hindered mostly due to the design of the dress. So, with that out of the way, let's move on to accessories. And the first one being a display stand. So, unlike the rice shower display stand, this one seems to be a simplified one where it does not have the logo for Umamasume on the base. So I don't know if that means that's just how they standardly come, or if the rice shower that I picked up was a special. So yeah, I really don't know the details on that. But moving on, we do get 4 different faceplates. That being, if I can get one of them, a determined face, and just like the face that it comes with, all the print work is fairly clean. None of my faceplates have had any issues, so there is that. Next up, we have kind of this not like a I want to say it's like a defeated pose, or like I don't know. I'm sure it has a specific name for it. I just don't know it off the top of my head. And I'm pretty sure that the box it came in described what this faceplate is called, but I just, I didn't get a chance to look at it really. But if you do know, please put it down in the comments, because I am curious as to what you would call it. Next up we have this smiling pose for the face with both eyes closed. Fairly nicely done. And last but not least, you have a winking face, or a kissing face, like a blowing a kiss face. I don't know. Again, fairly nicely done. And with that out of the way, that's all the accessories. You don't get any hands, which, you know, if you take a look at the design, I mean, they would have to give alternate sleeves, but I don't think that is possible. I think this is just how the design is. So yeah, you don't get any hands, which for me is fine and dandy. Mostly because that's one of the first things I always lose. So I figure with that, we'll just move on to size comparisons. So moving on, Satono Diamond. I hope I'm saying that right. Off to the side there. She is standing pretty well despite all the bulk, which I'm kind of surprised at. But yeah, where's the first figure that I actually want to do size comparison with? There's so much stuff in the way. I seem to have misplaced all of my things. But let's get this started. Here we go. First up, one of my favorite releases from SH Figuarts, being the SH Figuarts Bunbunja Red, who is not wanting to stand. I did just finish putting him in a pose. There we go. So yeah, she's not the tallest figure, Diamond, that is, but much taller than Rice Shower, which you will soon see. So moving on, we have and if I can just get it posed up slightly cleaner here, the Valiverse Praetorian Guard, which now wants to do the splits. Okay, there we go. I feel like this is an unfair comparison just because this figure has, and probably will always, tower over most normal sized figures. But a comparison just to show off the Praetorian Guard, just because I really like him. And next up we have the Maximum Series Spider-Man, who again I just had posed because I already took all the photos for the end credits. So we just get him into a somewhat neutral stance, and there we go. So this is a good way to show off like a standard Marvel Legends height. So if you have any one of Hasbro's Marvel Legends or G.I. Joe or Black Series, yeah, you should get a good idea to how tall this Umamasume is. And now for the comparisons that make the most sense to do, we have the SH Figuarts Rice Shower, who is very tiny and still has difficulty standing. I did do some modifications where I glued down the sword, and I found a way to make the tail not fall off, which involved thickening up the ball joint. So I'll just leave it like that. And last but not least, oh, I dropped her tail. The ever so famous Bullshit. Who still towers above the rest, which I want to say that's accurate if she wants to stand. I'm not, oh no. Oh no, trying to do this all in one take is always difficult. Let me just move you off to the side and pick her back up. I don't think it's a problem with the figure standing, but I think it's just my light box. The surface doesn't have that great of traction for them. But yeah, there we go. So with that, I hope this gives a good idea between the two companies, that being the SH Figuarts and the Figma. There were also a set of model kits, and I'm almost thinking about picking one of those up, but I think I'm just going to stick with Figuarts for now. But yep, taking them off to the side. Oh, before I forget, I don't think I even showed off replacing one of the alternate headpieces, so I'll just do that right now before I forget. It's just pretty simple. It's like any other SH Figuarts. You just take off the front bangs. You want to plug in the alternate face print, and then plug in the bangs once more, and there you have it. So with that out of the way, we just throw her into a quick pose. And I'm not going to get too crazy because again, the lower body is going to be hampered by what kind of poses you can do. And I just want her to stand by herself without the aid of the included stand. So if we could just, yeah, there we go. Get her like that. We come down to our conclusions, and that being, is this figure worth your time to pick up? And I'd say, yeah, if you're a fan of Umamasume or Satono Diamond, I'd say it's a really good figure. Definitely a great display piece. I know myself, I don't have too much knowledge on the character. I have been grinding the mobile game. It's been fun. It hasn't been fun trying to get Rice Shower to win, but that's a different story. But yeah, I think retail-wise, she prices around 70 to 100, somewhere in that ballpark. I think on Amazon, she's currently at 77 plus, which, oop, oh, she finally fell. Which I think it's fine. I mean, you gotta understand that she doesn't come with too much, but for what she does come with, I think it's perfectly fine. But again, you do have other options in terms of Umamasume figures or characters that you much prefer. But yeah, I think with that being said, I think that's it. If you do want to see more content, I stream live on the channel HexHap with a group of friends, building and painting Warhammer miniatures. So, you know, there's always that. If you want to check that out. I also highly suggest watching Commissar Yoraki, who's in that group. He does a lot of gaming videos and playthroughs. So, yeah, I'd highly recommend checking his stuff out. And with that being said, I think that's it. I think that's a wrap. I don't think I'm missing anything. Yeah, no, I think that's it. It's kind of hard to tell. This is the second attempt at this recording, so at this point I'm just trying to do this all in one take. But yeah, I'll have some end images to show off what you can do, or at least as much as my creativity allows me to do. And with that being said, I've been Amano in the red, hoping to see you next time. Peace.